So for the first 4 questions, it tells me to evaluate the following expressions in the round of 2 decimal places. This means I need to use the calculator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 16, because that's my base, and then I'm going to do this button right here, the little upside down V. I press that, and then I type in my exponent, which is 3/4 for this question. This one's a perfect number, so I just write down the 8 for my answer. I'm going to do the same thing for number 2. I'm going to do 125 to the 2/3. And I type that in. And enter. This one's also perfect, so it's 25. Same thing for number 3. I'm going to do 80 to the -4 divided by 7. Hit enter. This one is a decimal. It gives me 0.0817. Since I'm rounding to 2 decimal places, I look at the 0.08. The number after the 8 is a 1, so I leave it at 8. My answer here is 0.08, or 0.08. Same thing for number 4. I'm going to do 50 to the 3/2. This time it gives me 353.553. The 3 is less than, my computer's being slow. The 3 is less than 5, so I don't round the last 5, and this is my answer. Whenever something tells me to find the nth root of a, that means I'm going to rewrite it as 81 to the 1/4. I make a fraction exponent. So I'm going to find 81 to the 1/4. It's 3, but because the n value was even, it's going to be plus or minus 3. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for number 6. I'm going to do -1024 to the 1/5 power. And then on my calculator, I'm going to do I want to do this in parentheses. I always want to put my number in parentheses, just in case if it was an even exponent, it would tell me no solution. So I have -1024 to the 1/5 power. This is just -4. I don't have to do plus or minus because this one is odd. This one wants me to find the real solutions of the equation, and if I need to round my decimal to 2 answer places. So this one I divide by 2. I get x to the 6 and 58 divided by 2 is 729. So then I take the 6th root. So on the calculator, the way I do this is going to be 729 to the exponent of 1 divided by 6. This one just gives me a 3. And it's going to be plus or minus 3 because it was an even root. Okay, number 8, the first thing I want to do here is find the cube root. And the cube root of 28 is not a perfect cube root. So I do 6 to the 1/3 power, which gives me a 1.82. This one rounds because the number after the 1 is a 7, so more than 5. Then I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I get x equals negative, so I'm going to do 1.8, you can't see my screen, 1.82 minus 6, which gives me negative 4.18. Moving on. These ones want me to still find the solution, but if I have a radical, it wants me to leave the radical there. So I'm not going to get this using this one. I divide by 2. I get x cubed equals 52. I do my factor tree for 52. 2 and 26. 2 and 13. I'm looking for groups of 3. Oh, I forgot to do my cube root anyways. But I'm looking for groups of 3. I do not have any groups of 3. So it's going to stay exactly as it is. It's going to be x equals the cube root of 52. I can't do anything with that. And it wants me to leave it in simplified radical form. Number 10, to get rid of the fraction, I multiply both sides by 3. I get x cubed equals 24. Then I do the cube root. Factor tree for 24. 2 and 12. 2 and 6. 2 and 3. So this time I have a group of 3. I pull that out, so it's going to be x equals 2 cube root of 3. 3 is on the inside because it didn't have anyone to leave with. Also, both of these are not plus or minus, they're just plus because they're odd exponents. Number 11, I divide by 4 on both sides. I get x to the 4 equals 1296 divided by 4. 324. Then I do the fourth root. So I'm going to do my factor tree for 324, and I'm going to see what I have groups of 4 for. So 324 is even, so I'm going to pick 2, and then I get 162. Divide by 2, 81, 9 and 9, 3 and 3 for both of my 9s. So I'm looking for groups of 4. I have it right here with the 3s. So this one's going to be x plus or minus, and then the 3 goes there. And then this is the fourth root. And the number on the inside, I have 2 leftover 2's, so I multiply them together. 2 times 2 is 4. And that's my answer. Same thing with number 12. I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to start off. I get x to the 4th equals 32. Then I do the fourth root. So I'm going to do my factor tree for 32, and now I'm looking for groups of 4. I have 2 and 16, 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. I have a group of 2 right there. So my answer is going to be x equals plus or minus, because it was an even exponent. The 2's that I circled go on the outside, and this 2 that I didn't circle goes on the inside. And that's my answer. Moving on. Number 13, both of these numbers have the same exponent, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it as 48 over 6 in parentheses to the 1/4. Then I do 48 divided by 6, which is, 48 divided by 6 gives me 8. 8 to the 1/4. I cannot simplify because remember, if I do my factor tree for 8, it gives me 2 and 4, 2 and 2. I only have 3's, not 4's. So this is my simplified answer. Number 14, because the x's are multiplying, I add their exponents. So I have 3 halves plus 4 fifths. I need to make them have the same denominator. So I'm going to multiply my first equation by 5 over 5. And my second equation by 2 over 2, because I'm going to turn the bottom into 10. So then I have 15 over 10 plus 8 over 10. 15 plus 8 gives me 23. And then I have x to the 23 over 10. And that's my final answer. Number 15, when I have an exponent to an exponent, I multiply my exponents. So I'm going to multiply 4 fifths times 1/3. These multiply straight across, so I have 4 times 1, which gives me 4. And then on the bottom, 5 times 3, which gives me 15. So for number 15, my exponent is 4/15. Okay. Number 16, I have a secret exponent of 1. When I have fractions, these mean to subtract exponents. So I have 1 minus 2/3. I need to have the same denominator. So I'm going to make the, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the 1 have the over 1. And then I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3 to turn it into the same thing. So then I have 3 over 3 minus 2 over 3, which gives me 1 over 3. So my answer for 16 is x to the 1/3. Okay. Number 17, there's 2 different ways I can do this. I could distribute my exponent in and multiply it by both of those first. Or I can add my exponents on the inside and then distribute my exponent. I'm going to do the second way first. So I want to add 3 fifths plus 2/3. I need these to have the same denominator. So the first equation I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3, and the second one I'm going to multiply by 5 over 5. For my first fraction, I get 9 over 15, and for my second equation, I get 10 over 15. I add straight across, so I get 19 over 15. So I'm going to rewrite this really quick. I have 19 over 15 as my exponent on the inside, and 2 on the outside. So then I multiply. I'm going to multiply 19 over 15 times 2, and it's got a secret 1. So I multiply straight across. It gives me 38 over 15. So my answer for 17 is x to the 38 over 15. Number 18, I want to make sure all of my numbers have the same base. So if I look, I have 3, 27, and 9. Those are not the same base. So first step is to rewrite that. The 3 stays the same. I don't need to change that. 27 can be rewritten as 3 cubed. And then I still have it to the 3/4 power. And the 9 on the bottom can be rewritten as 3 squared to the 3/4. Okay. What I'm going to do here is for the 2 that are inside parentheses, I'm going to multiply their exponents. So the first 3 stays the same. It stays 3 to the 3/4. And then I have times 3 to the 9/4, because 3 times 3 is 9. And then the bottom stays the same. On the bottom, I have 3 to the 6/4. Okay, then I want to, on the top, I add my exponents. So 3/4 plus 9/4 gives me 12/4. So this gives me 12/4 for my top exponent. So then I'm going to rewrite this really quick. I have 3 over 12 to the 4 over 3 to the 6/4. So I want to subtract my exponents. I have 12/4 minus 6/4. Oh, and going back to this, the reason I didn't simplify it was because I knew the bottom exponent still was out of 4. So 12 minus 6 is 6/4. I can simplify that. That turns into 3/2. So my final answer is 3 to the 3/2. Moving on, number 19. Because they both have the same, number in front of the radical, I want to multiply the numbers inside, so I'm going to do 3 times 432, which is 1296, and I believe this one is a perfect 4th root. Yeah, so if I type in 1296 to the 1/4 power, it gives me just 6. On number 20, because I'm subtracting, I want to do my factor tree for 16. So I have 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. So I have a group of 2's that goes on the outside. This 2 that didn't get circled goes on the inside, and then I have minus 5 cube root 2. Now I can subtract. 2 minus 5 is negative cube root of 2. Or negative 3 cube root of 2. Moving on. Number 21. This is kind of like number 18. I want to make sure I have everything written in the same base. So I can rewrite 25 as 5 squared to the 2/3. 5 to the 2/5 stays 5 to the 2/5. 125 turns into 5 cubed to the 1/6 power. I'm going to multiply my exponents. So for the ones that have parentheses, I have 5 to the 4/3 times 5 to the 2/5 times 5 to the 3/6. Right, so I can rewrite 3/6 as 1/2. Or I can leave it 3/6 because I need to get all my exponents to be added together. So this time I'm adding 3 exponents. I have 4/3, 2/5, and 3/6. I'm looking for a number that both 3, 15, and 6 multiply to. This will be 30. So the first fraction gets multiplied by 10 over 10. The second fraction gets multiplied by 6 over 6. And the last fraction gets multiplied by 5 over 5. So my first fraction turns into 40 over 30. Second one turns into 12 over 30. And the last one turns into 15 over 30. So I just have to add 40, 12, and 15, which gives me, I can't add that one in my head, 67 over 30. This doesn't simplify. So my answer here is going to be 5 to the 67 over 30 exponent. Moving on to the back, I want to write things in the simplest form. So for 22, they have the same radicals, so I'm going to multiply them. 12 times 8 is 76. And I cannot do this to the 4th root because it gives me a decimal. So what I want to do is I want to factor tree. I have 96. I know it's even, so it's going to be 2 and 48. 48 is 2 and 24. 24 is 2 and 12. 12 is 2 and 6. 6 is 2 and 3.